Good morning, everyone. It's Nikki here. Just letting you know that we're not going to have a live episode of 10 today, not a recorded even version of 10. That's because I've been down in Monterey for the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance. I'm heading back now to Portland. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to stay the entire time. I know my good buddy Alex Guberman is still down there. So hi, Alex. I hope you get to see more than I did. I was only there for one day. Unfortunately, it was the day where they were still setting up, so there wasn't a lot going on. Hi, Alex. It was great to see you. I'm sorry we missed each other last night. I kind of may have fallen asleep. But I'm on my way back to the airport now. It's about half hour to 45 minutes, depending on the time of day. And I figured we'd try this and see if the live streaming will work. Unfortunately, I am on the move. I'm sitting on 101 or coming up to 101 soon. And I'm streaming using my cell phone. So we hope that this doesn't cause any problems. St. Louis, Missouri. Hello. My wife is heading to your neck of the woods later today. She's heading to Sedalia with my daughter for a couple of days. So very interesting time in Pebble Beach. I got to see the Byton M Byte and the K Byte. I was actually a guest of them at the Pebble Beach. Unfortunately, I'm heading back because I have to look after the dogs. We can't have the dogs on their own, so that was something obviously that had been planned for a long time, so we couldn't change that. But the M Byte and the K Byte are very interesting vehicles. Obviously, the K Byte is still very much a design study vehicle. The M Byte is an alpha prototype. There's lots of tech inside. Unfortunately, due to insurance issues, I wasn't allowed to have a ride inside that vehicle. I was able to sit inside it. We did a bit of filming, so hopefully we'll have that coming in the not too distant future. How can you drive without using your hands? I'm sitting in the back of a car right now, so I'm in the back seat. So I'm being chauffeured to the airport. So the Byton M Byte is a very interesting car. It's fantastic, large screen, which I have some concerns over driver distraction, and Byton says to us that Byton has said to us that it will be able to be turned off to avoid any distraction when you're driving. As an alpha prototype, it did feel a very early alpha prototype. I was told it did feel still very concept car-y and not production. So we'll have to see. Hi from a rainy bank holiday weekend in the UK. Of course, it's bank holiday weekend. It isn't in the States. We have that next weekend or the weekend after. The weekend after next, because it's a Labor Day weekend. So it'll be like the first Monday of September. So no, this is a chauffeur service, so I'm not paying for it as part of my trip down here. So maybe I should explain how that works, because a lot of you don't know. When you have an audio maker, and I'm not able to read all of these comments, I'm able to read them. So as part of a trip, when a car company invites you down to take part in a launch event, what happens is, or an event, they invite you to be their guest. What normally happens is that they will send you a plane ticket, they will put you up in a hotel, and they'll get you to and from the airport. So this is something that's all covered by Byton, because I've been a guest of Byton. Despite that, I am at liberty to say what I feel about the car and the company. So I'm not kind of like I'm not like an influencer where I have to sign an NDA and say, I'm only going to talk about this, I'm only going to talk about that. And I've had car companies before ask me to sign NDAs, not compete clauses, all these other things, and I refuse, because my job is to cover the entire sector, and in order to cover the entire sector, I need to actually have access to all of these different vehicles. So that's how it goes. So I figured that they would. I figured that I would give you a kind of an update here. There is not going to be a 10 today. I could have taken a flight last night, Unfortunately, the traffic was too bad and I wouldn't have made it to the airport in time. I could have taken a very early morning flight today, but that would have meant that I would have had to have gotten up at about 4 a.m. to get through the rush hour traffic to get to the airport. So I'm not driving. I am in the back of a car. So I am in the back seat of a car. Maybe I should do that and you can see a bit better. See, back seat of the car. Back seat of the car. So just to reiterate, so if somebody keeps saying that's what's going on. So some interesting things. Obviously, there was a Tesla fire yesterday at the factory in Fremont, which actually I'll be not far from in the not too distant future. I mean, I wouldn't be able to see it. Obviously, we're on the west side of the bay right now, but you can see this traffic and the quality, the air quality is terrible right now. But I've seen some really, I've seen some really good cars. I've seen the Model 3, lots of them. There's a Chevy Bolt just there. I went past Wozniak's Model 3, not Model 3, Chevy Bolt. So Steve Wozniak, co-founder of Apple, he has a Chevy Bolt EV, and he actually quite famously handed over his Model S for his Chevy Bolt EV, and he's got the license plate and it was parked in the SFO parking lot as I was being chauffeured down to my hotel on Wednesday. So that was a fun little bit. I've seen lots of kind of EVs that you don't necessarily see outside of California. So a good, a Tucson FCV. I've also seen a Mirai FCV. So that was fun. I do apologize that the connection keeps dropping out. Obviously, we are on a mobile connection right now, so you have to bear with me. The mobile connection, obviously, because we're traveling in a car. And I'm using a 4G connection, so it's not necessarily the best here. So there's been some, so as I was saying, the Tesla factory fire appears to have happened in some cardboard boxes outside the facility. Now, it's a known thing that there have been several fires started or caught fire at the Fremont production facility. It's not clear at the moment whether this was a sabotage or whether it was heat, or whether it was something else. I should probably remind you all that it's a very big factory and there are lots of things going on, and it could very easily have been an accidental fire. It could have been arson. I'm not a fire investigator, so I shouldn't and I cannot speculate as to the reason for that. So I think that's where we should sit on that one. Obviously, we've got the new Audi prototype was debuted yesterday at an event just down the road from where we were at Laguna Seca. Unfortunately, I've just gone past 5 Model 3s in a line on the off-ramp to exit 400A, which will be the exit for Apple, I believe. So very interesting, lots of EVs going on. Anyway, as I was saying, where was I? Oh yes, Audi e-tron prototype concept car was at Laguna Seca yesterday. I wasn't invited. Audi have been very strange with me lately, and I'm not big enough, essentially, for Audi to pay attention to. Now, I spoke to somebody else yesterday at the event in Pebble Beach, and they said the same thing. They were having the same issues. In the United States, a lot of automakers have changed the way that their PR is done. It used to be all done in-house. Now it's done by external PR agencies, and a lot of them are not into cars. They're not car people. They don't necessarily know the market as well as the press teams that have been with the car companies for years and years and years. And so what you end up having is there are people who who don't know you as well. You don't know them as well, and it's sometimes harder to get in and do events. So yeah, I'm in kind of. So I'm going to be in sort of. I left San Jose. So where are we right now? Let's have a look. We're heading up to SFO. So we're on the 101. I just saw Model S with no bumper. Oh dear. So anyway, the Audi e-tron concept car is at Pebble Beach today. It wasn't yesterday. I have missed it, unfortunately, but sadly that's what it is. I didn't get to see the Infinity because they were working on it. I did get to see the Polestar 1. Had a lovely chat with the guys at Polestar, Volvo, Polestar, whatever. So there we are. No, Rich is on the other side of the country, dear. So it's a big country. Passing an e-Golf here. Lovely silver e-Golf, actually. Really nice looking car there. And of course, here in California, the drive to have your to have an EV or a zero emission vehicle so you can make use of the carpool lane is really, really important, really, really cool. Did Kate say hello? Kate, which Kate? Hello. So someone was asking me what I thought of the Scion EV prototypes for 18 to 20,000 US. It's I haven't driven it, I haven't ridden in it, so I can't say for sure, but we'll see we go. So very sweet, Dandon, thank you very much. So just as a reiterate, I'm in a car heading to SFO. I'm not driving, I'm being driven, so I can wave my hands around. And I've been down in Pebble Beach. I am very tired, having just been. Oh, there's a Waymo. Quick, look. Can you see that? Look up there. Can you see that? That's one of the Waymo cars. We might see it in a second. I'm hoping that you guys can see it. It's very exciting. So we don't see those in Portland, Oregon. You see it. I'm looking, and I think, ironically, it's gone past us. It's not in the carpool lane, and we are. So, is there a huge amount of pebbles on the beach? I didn't go to the actual beach. One of the funny things when you do a car event like this is that you don't actually have a whole lot of spare time. So you end up going and filming and doing all these fun things with cars, but then you don't actually get to do any of the other fun things. So I've been around the world to lots of different places, and half of the places I've been to, I've never actually done some other stuff. So here we go. All right. Sorry, I just had to put someone in a timeout because they were just doing weird things. Very nice Model 3 just went past, the black one. We're car spotting now. One thing I haven't seen is an old RAV4 EV, which is a shame. They're all getting a bit old now, and they're all getting a little unreliable. Some of them are. Kate's is still doing okay, but the rest of them are. And there are some good ones. So anyway, the battery swap video was great fun. I really enjoyed that. I'm glad you guys liked that, and also the Hyundai video, or Hyundai. That's how they say it, apparently. That's how I originally used to say it, and then people said it's Hyundai, and then I just gave up at that point. What's the most common EV on the road where I am? Right now, there's lots of Teslas, Model S's, Model 3s, but obviously I'm going past kind of the Google area. So I'm in Silicon Valley, so Google, Apple, Tesla, obviously. But I've seen some really interesting ones today going past. But this is just to remind you, obviously, there's not going to be a 10 today because I am back about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Ow. That's okay. That was sharp. Traffic decided to stop in a hurry. So there we go. Anyway, you think that Jaguar is making the Bev E-Type because of the royal wedding? I think that the wedding may have had some influence, but I think the E-Type is just, the electric E-Type is just fantastic. I think I cannot wait to get my hands on one just to try it out. I've got a soft spot for the E-Type anyway, but just grab my case here. Oops, a daisy. I've got a soft spot for the E-Type anyway, so you know it's quite a. It's not too bad. Even after Brexit. Apparently it's drizzling in Portland. Yay! That's brilliant. If you win the US lottery, can you buy us all one? I don't play the lottery because it's a bit of a loser's game. It's not for someone who likes maths. All English people have a soft spot for the E-Type, it's true. I think Land Rover should buy Bollinger and make it the new Defender. I agree, it's a lovely vehicle. I think that the electric Defender is still my favourite car, the prototype that I drove. I just loved it, it just felt right. People think that I want a car with all the gadgets and bells and whistles, but actually I like a very honest, rugged, functional vehicle. That's my favourite type of EV. I didn't have a choice with the taxi. That was all taken care of. So where are we? Have I seen the Kalashnikov EV? I have. I was reading the report on that this morning. It looks very exciting. I don't have any B-roll yet, so I need to find some. I would love to go and try it out, maybe go to Russia, but I wouldn't go to Russia. So it would have to come to a country that I would go to. So I wouldn't travel to Russia to try one out. The Bollinger is a great vehicle. I think it looks better with the new nose job. I like it because it looks more like the Defender. And I think supercharger network would be awesome. And if I get to a point where I can afford one, maybe that would be my next vehicle. They would lock me up if I went to Russia, which would be bad. I just talked about the Kalashnikov EV. I did try to keep up. I'm being slightly rude. The Kalashnikov EV looks great. It's nice to see the company diversify. Obviously, they also have the electric motorcycle, and they have lots of things. No, I'm not. It's a strange question. No, I'm not. It's like mildly racist, perhaps. You're speaking nicely. You're related to John Oliver. I'm just joking. No, I'm not. It's obviously the angle that I'm sitting at as well. I have good humour. I do try some of the time. You should see some of the things I say about people later. I know it's off topic, but I bought the Dyson V10 a while ago. Do you think Dyson? That's a very nice transition. That's so smooth. I back in recently. Do you think they will get into electric motors patented for other manufacturers? I don't know. I think maybe that would be a fun thing. Help Nikki get some lunch. You know what? Help me hire somebody else. I am in the process. Next week we've got somebody coming into the office to try out for a week. They're going to be trying for a week, not a week, a day. They're going to come into the office. I'm going to give them kind of an interview on the job, and if they do well, then they will be in my edit suite, and they will also be a researcher for me. I'll still do a lot of the in front of the camera stuff, unfortunately, for those of you who don't like my voice or my face. But eventually, I hope that we can expand that a little bit more. But as I was saying before, we have to get some more people on board so I can produce more content, and that's, you know, so that if I'm out of the office on a day like today, I don't have to make a video saying I'm really sorry I can't do a show today, because you know, we go from there. I prefer wearing glasses. I don't like wearing contacts. I do have contacts. I wear contacts. I wear contacts because it stops the reflections, and also it makes it a little easier to see my face. Um, Thank you, Jerry. Add me to your Patreon. That's very sweet. That's very sweet. Thank you very much, everyone who's donating. I really appreciate it. I like it when this happens. I'm going to try and do some more live streams next week. For those of you who are keeping up with the world of Transport Evolved and the projects that we're working on, challenges I will have for my person is I'm not saying their name because I don't want them to feel pressured or not. One of the things I've got for them to work on is the Morris Minor, the electric Morris Minor that I drove in London a couple of months ago when I was there, obviously to see my late sister before she died, and there for Fully Charged Live. So I had a very busy time when I was there, and I will be editing that down, and we'll go from there. Is it who you think it is? Is it who I think it is? Can I say their name to you without? Send me a message in Telegram, and then I'll tell you if that's that person or not, because I can still see it. All right, here we go. I'm trying to see if I can set this up. So you can send me a message here, and then I can tell you whether it's that person. You are the EV Queen Royal. It's kind of funny when you say that, because I have a character who is a faux queen. She's not really a queen. Queenie is my character, and it's all lies. Anyway, back to the EV world. I think this week has been a reasonably quiet week. Obviously, we've got the Jaguar E-Type, we've got the new concept from Infiniti, new concept from Audi, and all the other things. How do I keep up with all the messages and stuff? I do, just because I'm fairly well versed in it. I've had some practice over the years. What's your opinion of the BMW style of pedal driving versus the B mode and the paddles method? I like one pedal driving. I don't know what the BMW. You mean the BMW i3 method? I don't know. I mean, I'm used to the Bolt. I like the version that Chevy had. I think that's good. I don't necessarily like. I'd rather it was a gear selector, so you could set it to have really hard regen on. I am a fast reader, so I'm quite easily distracted, and I multitask. I can process a lot of information at the same time. So we just went past a Chevy truck with a whole bunch of Spark EVs on it. Spark EVs on it. So that was pretty cool. And so I take in a lot of information, and I can process it quite quickly when I'm performing in front of a camera, because this is essentially like a performance. My brain is running twice the speed, and it's quite easy for me to take on information and work. Have I seen the shooting brake version of the Model S? I love it. I think it's awesome. I love the Spark EV too. I think it's a lovely little car. I nearly bought one, actually, and it's a lovely little car. If I came into some money and I was looking for another EV for like a family member to drive, then maybe we'd do it. Would I take a state job promoting EVs? So there's lots of women actually in the EV sector working in government, in roles. I'm not a huge policy person. That's the problem. I'm not really into policy. It's one of the reasons why I do what I do, is so that I can actually get bums and seats and educate. You'll notice that I'm not interested in a particular make or model of car. I'm more interested in getting people changing the way they think about travel. And if that means that they end up with a plug-in hybrid rather than a pure EV, or they end up with some other form of ZEV, And we just went past the Hitler Aviation Museum, which I had to take a double take on because for the first time, it looked like it said the Hitler Airport Museum, which would have been bad. But no, it was the Hiller. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, she's doing a great job. She's doing a great job. The traffic is kind of easing off a little bit. So we're coming up to 412 Marine Parkway. So we're making good progress. Got a little ways to go, but it's very overcast this morning. It really is very overcast. Hasn't been any news on Bollinger this week, not that I'm aware of. The one thing that I find really amusing about Bollinger and slightly irritating is their black and white videos, which I love, but obviously if you're producing a video, you do want something a little bit more. What's your stand on the Elon Musk first Azealia Banks? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. So you have to fill me in. And Kia, no, it's not. I would love him to come and work for me. I've told him I want him to come and work for me. I've told him when I can afford him, he's got a job. It's somebody else known to you and somebody that you and I have worked with in the past. Someone we were with at the last event we did. You think you know who? Nope. Nope, they're not going to be a film. Don't think camera people. Think artist. Yahoo. What's going on with Yahoo? What's Yahoo done? All right. Do I think? Have I checked out the Tesla fan? And have a few things, but yes. All supporting the best YouTuber available. Thank you, Dan. That's very sweet. Do I think that getting 18 miles a day charge is worth putting solar on cars? It depends where you live. It depends what you're charging. And then the challenge that people have, with the Africar or any of these, not Africa, the A car, is that people are treating the A car like they would in the West. And, we might travel 30, 40 miles a day, maybe more. But if you're putting solar panels on a car and you're only going to be driving it 10 miles a day, or maybe 20 miles a day, then that makes your car a whole lot more affordable to use. Ed Wallace from the Wheels radio show likes his iMe better than the Jag, so that will tell you a lot. EV rules the EV rollers. Thank you, Dan. That's very sweet. ICE to EV conversions, that's the ticket. Well, I like conversions. I'm very partial to conversions. In fact, it's kind of how I got into this space, because I wanted to convert a classic car, my 1965 Morris Minor, into an electric car, and didn't actually have that. So there we go. Isn't the A car a bit offensive? In what way? I mean, there's a Pacifica hybrid over there. What do you think about an electric student car used? Do you mean what would I pick? If I had to pick a car for EVs, an EV student car right now, and I had the money, I would probably go with a Mercedes smart car, the Smart ED. If I only wanted a limited range, two-seat car, super easy to park, very easy to drive. I might go for a first generation Leaf, but they will have battery degradation. And my third pick would probably be, if I could afford it, I might look at a Volt if I was in the US. If I was in the UK or in Europe, I would look for a Zoe. Has anyone seen Rich Rebuild's new project? Well, I haven't seen any of his videos for a week, so Any news on the old episodes of Transport Evolved being re-uploaded without audible samples? Some. I would love to do that, but again, I don't have the time to do all of those and to produce new content. Is BMW thinking Nurse Gladys Emanuel drives a white Morris Minor. Yes, she did. And I used to drive a grey Morris Minor two-door called Hebe, and I also had, and that was a standard Morris Minor. It was a 1 litre Morris Minor. It was a stonking. Did it without even realising I was travelling that fast. All right. So here we go. The 1932 Morris Minor with a 3-speed crash to electric. Yeah, I'd love that. That would be great. Motherboard did a piece on Rich. Yeah, he did. I think he's kind of recovering from that at the moment, because obviously it was quite a big challenge. Now, looking at the distance here, we're not that far away from the airport now. So just to give you guys a bit of a warning. So we will soon stop. Have I done video of conversions? Who does them and how reliable their work is? Well, it depends on where you live. There are lots of people doing garage conversions and stuff. So we'll see that. Would I consider doing a show from the Philippines? Yeah, if someone was going to fly me out there, I might consider it. Do you have to keep renting the battery if you buy a second-hand Zoe? Well, it depends in which market. They are now offering the chance for you to buy a battery. But I mean, renting a battery is no more expensive than buying petrol for the car. And my phone is blowing up. I'm not entirely sure. People keep sending me things. Huge. It's huge. Alrighty. I have frozen again. I do apologise. I'm back. Legal obstacles to what? Ideas. So we are half a mile from the airport. So I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for watching. So I don't want to obviously film at the airport because I don't want to get into trouble. But thank you for watching. I will see you next week. I